Hello everyone, my name is Hansen Chen. I'm a technical support engineer and I work in Kanion company for the air-to-water heat pump units. What is the air-to-water heat pump unit? The air-to-water heat pump unit can provide one-stop solution for the building. It can provide space cooling, space heating, and domestic hot water.
Today, welcome to attend this training. Okay, now let's start the training about air-to-water heat pump unit. So what is the Kanion air-to-water heat pump series? Our heat pump units can provide one-stop solution. For example, it can provide space heating and cooling as well as the domestic hot water. So it can offer or complete all yes/no solution for the building. And also it can connect with the gas boiler, so it can be automated with the traditional gas or oil boiler. The price of gas is very high in Europe, so that's why we launched this product in the Europe markets, and this product become more and more popular in the Europe markets. The first of all is the lineup about this product. It has two series, mono and the split. This is the capacity and the power supply of the mono and split. As we can see, for mono series, start from the 4 kW to the 30 kilowatts. The power supply, it has the two types, single phase and three phase. For the split units, the capacity range start from 4 kilowatt to the 16 kilowatt. The difference is the split units and mono units is that the split units is separated outdoor and the indoor units. You can see from this picture. The indoor unit, sometimes we will call this one as the hydronic modular, hydronic indoor units. For the mono series, we already integrate the hydronic modular inside to make it one unit. So this is the difference between the mono and split. And for the split unit, also has the two types power supply. One is the single phase, another one is the three phase. The mono series capacity start from 4 kilowatt to 30 kilowatts, which the capacity is bigger than the split unit. For split units, the maximum capacity is 16 kilowatt. And for the indoor unit, it also has the three model, which to match the different capacity outdoor unit. For example, 60 model for indoor units to match the 4 kilowatt and 6 kilowatt outdoor units. 100 model for indoor units match the 8 kilowatt, 10 kilowatt outdoor units. 140 indoor units match the 14 kilowatt and 16 kilowatt outdoor units. And for the indoor units, it's very thin. The thickness of the indoor unit modular is only 270 millimeter.
In our company, we offer two series for the heat pump units, mono series and the split series. This one is the split series. As we can see, this one is the outdoor unit. This one is indoor unit. In other name, you will call this one hydronic modular.
So this is the product lineup for the air-to-water heat pump units. So the next, I would like to introduce the main features about this product. Our product has high efficiencies, high reliability, comfort and health, convenience and stock control. The first is about the high efficiencies. Because our product is full DC design. For example, the compressor is DC motor, DC inverter compressor. The fan motor also is DC inverter fan motor. And even for the water pump is also DC inverter design. Our product is all DC design. That's why by this way we can achieve the unit operation with the high efficiency. And thanks to all DC design, the units also can bring a lot of the features. For example, it can achieve the quicker startup, also guarantee the efficiency for the units. Also, it can achieve the quiet operation, also achieve the less frequency or stop. This is the advantage of the all DC design. The next function is about the smart grid function. As we all know, in the Europe markets, they offer two signals, smart grid function. That means the grid will provide two signals, EVU and SG, to indicate the grid role. For example, which different signal of power supply has the different price electricity. For example, it has the free electricity signal and valid electricity signal and the peak price electricity signal. So the grid can provide different two signals to the customer. So our units can connect with the smart grid function, can connect with the grid map. That means our heat pump units with the smart grid certificate can identify different signals combination and adjust the working state to adapt to the grid load to achieve the energy saving. So I already mentioned the table. You can see when the signal of EVU and SG both are on. I mean, this is a dry contact, okay? We have the connection port on the PCB. You connect the port with the grid load, with the grid of the Europe or the country road of the country grid. For example, the signal from the grid is the EVU on and SG on. That means at this moment, this signal electricity, the price is very cheap. Maybe it's free. So at this moment, you turn on with the DHW mode. What is the DHW? DHW means the domestic hot water. When the free electricity or low price electricity come, then the unit will run the DHW mode, domestic hot water mode, to produce the hot water, and the temperature will be up to 7 degrees Celsius and stop the hot water in the tank. DWH means the tank booster heater. If you install this one in the water tank, the tank boost heater also will be turned on automatically when the tank water temperature is less than the 69 degrees Celsius. At this time, the price, the price of electricity is free or very, very low. So the unit can run with this mode. But for this function, you need to activate this function in our wider controller. If you don't activate this, then the unit will not run with this mode. About the climate curve automatic setting. In our wider controller, you can select different climate curve. Once you select the climate curve in the wider controller, then the living water temperature will be adjusted by the outside ambient temperatures automatically. You don't need to set the living water temperature by manual because we already built in more than 32 weather temperature curve in the wider controller. You just go to wider controller and select which curve you want to use. The living water temperature will be adjusted based on the outside ambient temperature. For example, you can see from this curve, different colors curve which belongs to different climate curve, has the different operation mode. And the next part is the high reliability. This is the wide operation range for our air to water heat pump units. For example, for the air ambient temperature, our units can run. For example, if you run the units with heating, then it can accept the minus 25 degrees Celsius to the 35 degrees Celsius. And when you run units with the domestic hot water mode, then the acceptable ambient temperatures is from the minus 25 degrees Celsius to 43 degrees Celsius. Our unit also can produce the cool water for the cooling. So for this one, it can accept minus 5 degrees Celsius to 46 degrees Celsius for the ambient temperature. This is for the ambient temperature. For the living water setting temperature, for heating, we can adjust the living water temperature from 25 degrees to the 65 degrees. If you run the unit with the domestic hot water mode, adjust temperature can be 20 degrees Celsius to the 60 degrees Celsius. And for cooling, you can adjust 5 degrees Celsius to 25 degrees Celsius. So our product has the wide operation range for the temperature. And our unit has the powerful heating. Why I say our unit has powerful heating? For example, our units can achieve maximum 65 degree living temperature for heating mode. When the outside ambient temperatures reach minus 15 degrees Celsius, the unit still can produce the maximum 60 degrees Celsius for the hot water. So the unit has the powerful heating. And another function for the high reliability is the holiday away. Holiday away function, if you want this function, you need to activate, enable and disable in the wider controller. If you enable this function on the wider controller, when you go to the vacation on the holiday, right? The units will run and with the holiday away mode. Because when the users go on vacation, the holiday away function can be used to protect the units from freeze damage according to the climate. When the holiday away function is activated, the units will run in heating or domestic hot water mode with the low set temperature in the set period. That means we can set the low temperature in the controller. For example, I want to set 20 degrees for the holiday away in the controller. Then that means I go to vacation, right? Then the units will run with the low temperature which I set in the controller. So by this way, we can protect the unit from freezing damage according to the climate. Even outside is very cold, but there's no freezing damage because I already set the low living water temperature. Another one is the floor protection. It has two functions can achieve the floor protection. One is the preheating, another one is drying up for the floor. If a large amount of the water remains on the floor may be or even rupture during the floor heating operation. Because if you don't use preheating for the floor, instead of operating the units with the heating mode, maybe at the beginning you set a very high temperature, maybe it's the 50 degrees Celsius, right? Or 35 degrees Celsius or 40 degrees Celsius for the floor heating loop. At this moment, the water temperature is very high. If a lot of amount water remains on the floor and the water living temperature you set is very high, for this situation, the floor is very easy to damage, easy to warp or even rupture. So that's why we need to preheat the floor when you use the floor heating mode. And also, we have the drying up. We can activate this function, preheating or drying up in the controller. Then the drying up mode can move the moisture on the floor. Our product has the completed certification. For example, the ERP directive, which have the high efficiencies. For example, at the 35 degrees Celsius, we can achieve the A triple plus. At the 55 degrees Celsius, we can achieve the A double plus, which is very high efficiencies. The next one is the comfort and health. As I say, our product, air to water heat pump product, can connect with the multiple internal terminal. For example, it can connect with the fan coil units, it can connect with the floor heating loop, and also it can connect with the radiator. As our research, as we all know, floor heating is the most comfortable heating method, right? For example, we can see from this picture, the floor heating curve is the near with the ideal heating curve, right? Which is more comfortable than the radiator heating, air conditioner heating. Our unit can connect with the floor heating group to achieve the most comfortable for heating method. And the next feature is about the silent mode. Our special design for the compressor and the fan blade. By the special design, we can reduce the compressor's operation. By this way, we can reduce the operation noise level. And except that one, our unit also has the silent mode, level 1 and level 2. If you want to achieve extremely silent, then you can select the level 2 in the wider controller. This is an example we already test in the laboratory. For the mono 4 kilowatt model, it produced minimum 35 dB sound pressure level at 3 meters thanks to the multiple optimization design like the special compressor and the special fan blade design and the silent mode level 2 and the other method, for example, like this one. Except the unit silent mode, our water pump also has the silent mode. You can activate this function in the wider controller. This feature is the interface of our wider controller. Then you can choose the input device and then choose the pump silent mode. You can make it yes or none. If you make yes, that means the water pump maximum output decrease 5% to decrease the noise of the heat pump. And the other feature about the product is the fast DHW, fast domestic hot water. It can make the hot water in a short time. How we can achieve this one? Our product can connect with the additional heat source like the gas boiler. Also can connect with the 10 booster heater. So you can activate this function in the wider controller For example, in the picture of the right side, in the left side, choose the fast DHW. All the heat pump unit will run. Additional heat source will start, and 10 booster heater also start. They will start together to provide the hot water in a short time. Another function is the domestic pump function. This function is used to return the water in the water pipe next to the hot water tank according to the set timer. That means we can set, if you install the water pump for the water tank, then you can connect the water pump of the tank to our units. And also you need to set this function. For example, you can set a different timer, total 12 timer for one day you can set. So if you set this one, that means it can return the hot water which in the piping system to return that water into the water tank. By this way, we can save energy. Other feature is about the refrigerant. Our product uses the friendly environment refrigerant R32, which has the low GWP. The value of GWP is 675, so it's very low value for the global warming potential, and zero impact on the ozone layer. And this refrigerant also is less carbon emissions compared with the traditional refrigerant like R14A. So R32 refrigerant has higher heat transfer coefficient, so it can bring better performance in pool condition. Also has less pressure loss. Also, for the price of R32, that means you don't need to more amount in the system. By this way, we can make it less cost. Another function of our product is the disinfect, which is for health. This function, we need to activate this function in the water controller. It's used to kill the Legionellas by the high temperature water, by the 70 degrees Celsius water, to ensure the health and the safety. So this function can be activated by the user interface. You can see the middle picture. Okay, you can activate this function in the water controller. The next one is convenient. Our product has the power limitation function, 9 configurations for users to choose according to the maximum allowable access current. You can adjust the power limitation output, so you can adjust up to 9 steps. And the next one is the double zoom control. It's flexible control because our air to water heat pump unit can connect with the multiple internal like floor heating loop, like the radiator. Their working temperature is different. The working temperature is different. For example, for the radiator temperature, it's a little higher than the floor heating loop. Maybe for the radiator, the working temperature is allowed to the 50 or 55 degrees Celsius. And for the floor heating loop, the temperature is lower than the radiator. Maybe it's the 30 or 28 or 32 degrees Celsius. So those two terminals, the temperature is different. So how to control together? So that means our unit has the double zoom control. You need to set different zoom for these different terminals. So you can set in the controller. For example, set the radiator as the zoom 1, floor fluid heating as the zoom 2. So once the floor heating loops reach the temperature, reach your set point, then the pump will stop. The pump in the piping system will stop, but the heat pump unit is still running for the radiator, because when the temperature of the floor heating loop is reach your set point, at that time maybe the radiator temperature didn't reach your set point, so that the unit still need to run until the radiator reach the set point. But if you don't use the room control, the floor heating also keep heating the room. The people living in the room with the floor heating loops, they will feel hot. So our product has this function to separate this, to achieve the double zoom control. And next is about the schedule, which is intelligent control. Product has the daily schedule, weekly schedule, and the holiday schedule. The next one is smart control. Our units come with the wired controller. Those wired controller can connect with the Wi-Fi. Then you can achieve to control the unit and set some parameter in for the units by your smartphone. This wired controller or smartphone application, it supports the multiple language, maximum up to the 12 language. Also, a Wi-Fi controller and app smart control can achieve the similar control with the wired controller, like the easy, like the sunset model setting, schedule setting, and the temperature curve setting, on-off control setting, and also it has the function of the power consumption. It can record the power consumption of the units. It can provide the suggestion for the energy saving. As we can see this picture is from our application. You can export the daily energy consumption, weekly energy consumption, monthly energy consumption. Even you can export the yearly energy consumption. And then our application will give you the suggestion of the energy saving. The next is the installation. Our product has the easy installation and service. The first one is the compact design. So for the units which the capacity is below 16 kilowatts, it's just only one fan. Single fan structure for the units which has the compact design. It has the small footprint. And also for the split indoor units, which is very thin. The thickness of the indoor units is only 270 millimeter. For the internal e-box design, it's a rotable design. So it's really easy for the maintenance. And for the mono series, that means they already integrate the hydronic modular in one unit. So that means we don't need to connect the refrigerant couple pipe for the mono series. You just connect the water pipe to the FCU, to the water tank, to the floor heating loop, to the radiator directly. This is the feature of the mono series. Just connect the water piping. You don't need to welcome. You don't need to add the refrigerant in the system because this mono series integrate the hydronic indoor unit into one cabinet. For the split unit, that means the outdoor unit and the hydronic modular is separated. For those series, you need to connect the refrigerant couple pipe. If the length of the refrigerant couple pipe is less than the 50 meter, you don't need to add extra refrigerant into the piping system. If the pipe left more than 50 meters, then you need to add the refrigerant into the system. Our installation manual already mentioned how much volume we need to add. It depends on the model capacity. It depends on the capacity of model. For example, for the 10 kilowatt units, right? If the piping left is, let's say, is 20 meters, which is bigger than 15 meter, is more than 15 meter, then it needs to add refrigerant with the 20 minus 50 meter equal to 5 meter. 5 meter plus 20 grams equal to the 100 grams. 100 grams, you need to add 100 grams for the refrigerant piping if the piping is 20 meter. So from more detail, you can check in the manual. The other things is the USB function. It's convenient for the data transmission. You don't need to change the whole PCB. For example, if you want to update some program or to meet your customer special requirement, then we can write the program and then send to you program. Then you put the program into the USB flash driver, and the USB flash driver connect to the PCB USB port, and then you can update the program. You don't need to change the whole PCB. The next one is the easy maintenance, because for our units is only one door, only one panel design for the electrical box. So when you want to go to replace the main control board, you just open one panel. You don't need to open other panel, so which is easy for the maintenance. And also our heat pump units comply with the Modbus function, with the Modbus RTU communication protocol, so it can support 16 units to connect to the BMS. And another feature is about the Cascade function. If the single outdoor unit, the capacity cannot meet the requirement, so we can combine multiple units to achieve bigger capacity. We can combine maximum 6 units together and to provide a bigger capacity. For example, 4 kilowatt to 16 kilowatt model, we can combine maximum 6 units to achieve the maximum capacity up to the 96 kilowatt. For the 30 kilowatt, 30 kilowatt model, we can combine 6 units together in the system to achieve maximum 180 kilowatt. You can see this piping drawing. I already mentioned the master units, and the slave units. So those maximum 6 units can be controlled by just one controller with automatic adjustment. Another feature about this one, by this way of the installation, we can achieve the master to produce the hot water. The slave units produce the cool water simultaneously. The master produces the hot water for the water tank, and the slave unit produce the cool water for the space cooling for the FCU, or produce the hot water for the space cooling and space heating for the radiator or FCU. We can produce the hot water for the water tank, and at the same time produce the hot water or cool water for the space cooling or heating at the same time. So this is the feature of the Cascade function. One more thing I want to remind you: if you want to use the Cascade function, the supply side of each unit need to install the one-way valve. This one, number 9. Number 9 is the one-way valve. That means the water only can go up, cannot go return. So if you want to use this function to achieve the produce hot water from master units and produce the cool water from the slave units at the same time, you must install the one-way valve to protect the water mixed together, to protect the cool water and the hot water mixed together. And the next one also is about the easy maintenance, as I say already introduced just now. Is one dot design for the hydronic system. So if you want to go to maintenance for the units, maybe change the PCB, maybe make the connection of the wire, you just only open one panel. Okay, these are all the features of our product.